Hey everybody, it's me, the Dragon King. Welcome to Dragon King 72 Media LLC on YouTube, Dragon King 72 Media LLC on TikTok, Dragon King 72 Media LLC on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. Haven't been here in a day or two. Been trying to get files off of my phone so I can make videos to free up space. But if you read the caption, you know where I'm starting, where I'm going, and where I'm going to end up. Um, Officer Tatum. I wanted to make this video the other day, but couldn't for some reason. Probably because I needed free up space on my phone. And Officer Tatum, as you know, he went down to Cold Springs, Mississippi, or wherever. I believe that's it, or wherever they all were from, Nolan, Xavier, Wells, and all the rest of them. And he interviewed two men, one white, one black. And prior to that, the mother of Xavier and his father, they had said on GMA that she said she did not know who he was, who this Dylan friend was. She had no clue who this was, and she had never met him. And he admitted to saying that he had never met her, and there were some conflicting photos about he had stayed over Nolan's house, sleepover, whatever the hell, right? So it was a lot of conflicting information about that. And then you have Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum he's trying to prove to us that these gentlemen, they were his friends, and they were his friends, and they were all of that. And he said when he was on Stephen A. Smith that he had all the proof that he needed. He had seen all the receipts and emails and texts, but you didn't show them to us. You didn't show them to the people who need to see it. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to sway opinion on the side of right, as Officer Tatum will call it, by making sure that these gentlemen were seen in the right light, because according to him, they're not guilty of anything after seeing their text, then prove it. Because that's the best way, prove it. If you're trying to prove that his so-called friends didn't unalive him, and you've got all the proof, if you've got all the receipts, then prove it, brother. Prove it. When he was on that show with Stephen A. Smith and Charles, what's his last name? I don't know his last name, please forgive, but he's a former attorney out of Brooklyn, and now he's a civil rights attorney. He was a former prosecuting attorney out of Brooklyn, but now he's a civil rights attorney. And you couldn't show us the receipts. Show us that they sent these messages, but you can't do that because it was untrue. They deleted all that. Okay, they probably didn't have it in the first place. Now here's the update. Some of you may be living under a rock if you haven't heard about it. There was an audio out. It's been verified, it has been clarified, and it has been validated that you could hear everybody outside of Nolan screaming stuff like, "Wake the F up, why isn't he waking up, what's wrong with Nolan?" And apparently he's on the boat, you know what I'm saying? Or they put him on the boat to take him back and dump his body off, So I wonder if Officer Tatum has something to say about that. I wonder if Officer Tatum has any issues with that. I wonder if Officer Tatum, because I haven't heard from him since the audio came out. And of course TMZ was being interviewed about the audio, and Of course, TMC is saying there's some unexplained things going on, but the audio has been cleaned up. All the text, listen to the audio. It's the real deal. It's the real thing. And basically, from the audio conversation, you can tell that he's pretty much he's out. Is he unconscious? Is he dead already on the boat while they're screaming? You know, but clearly he's on that boat. They're scrambling to figure out what to do, and the audio is real. It's legit. So the question is, will that audio come on the question is, will that audio be admissible in court if and when it comes to that? Because if Ben Crump and his people are doing this right, and I'm not a legal expert by any means, at some point before the summer is over, hopefully there should be some type of court proceedings. The coroner in Mississippi, they're holding on to body parts. I mean, is anybody surprised? It's Mississippi. It's Mississippi. This isn't a surprise, but everybody else is going to assume that they're following proper procedure. I guarantee they're not following proper procedure. I guarantee that they're not following proper procedure. But again, it's Mississippi. They're getting away with all types of stuff, and have been for decades. And so I want to know from Officer Tatum, and maybe y'all can show him this. Where you at with the audio, brother? Where you at with the audio? And apparently, he tried to interview Ben Crump, but he said no. He declined. Of course, he's going to decline. I wouldn't want anybody like Officer Tatum to platform me, because the agenda is already set. He's going to ask a lot of gotcha questions. He's gonna throw some quick little snips and scenarios. No, he's gonna try to question him being a lawyer, question his ethics. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna do what the lady did on News Nation and predicate a conversation by saying that Ben Crump is an ambulance chaser to get a certain type of outcome going in the conversation. That's what they're doing. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. This is Mississippi we're talking about. If it was Florida, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, New Mexico, I wouldn't trust anything in terms of the legal process when it came to a black person at the mercy of a southern legal system. I wouldn't trust it. Definitely not places like Mississippi. I mean, just look at their history. Just look at their history. Emmett Till, the white lady that accused him of something that her two brothers and her husband, they killed him for it. And turns out she lied all those years. She admitted to it. They kept her in protective custody, and she was able to live her life. She was able to live her life knowing that she had orchestrated killing a young black boy's life, all on a lie, all on a very colonial, antiquated, Jim Crow, hate-filled society. But yet she was allowed to live in peace. It's disgusting. So I'm not surprised it's Mississippi. I mean, shit happens everywhere. I'm in Wisconsin. We had somebody hung by a tree on a Brookfield golf course not even a year ago. It might be close to a year now. I've never heard of that in Milwaukee. Wisconsin is a very racist state. But yeah, so I'm not surprised that this is the cover up, especially down south. And more people are dying. Men are hanging from trees. Women are black men, black women are hanging from trees, and it just keeps happening and keeps happening. And I've said this already. Black people, you need to get your firearms. You have the right to bear arms. If you are not a felon, and if you are a felon, get your shit expunged. If you are not a felon without any issues, then you need to get armed. That is the only way that you'll be able to protect yourself out here. Because the police, come on, the police and the legal system are not doing it. Come on, the police and the legal system are not doing it. So you have to do it. And so, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But I really hate the fact that, you know, people like Officer Tatum is on the grift. And I'm going to say this. And love is love. But although I do think that people like Officer Tatum, they go out of their way to date someone out of their culture. There's nothing wrong with being open to it, but don't go out of your way to do it just because you feel like there's nothing in the black culture in terms of a good black woman that can provide you with everything that you need. And getting married to a black woman, a white woman, this for Officer Tatum, is not going to save you, brother. If you ever get into a situation where you are somewhere around some good old boys, they won't give a damn who you are, what party affiliation you have, what white woman you are married to, the support you give Donald Trump. If you are in the wrong place at the right time for them, and they have the opportunity to do something to you from a fatal perspective, they are going to do it. Now, you might be saying, well, Greg, you wishing harm. No, I'm not wishing harm. I'm just telling you what the reality of the sauce is. You are not immune to the same fate as Nolan, as anybody else within the last year, unfortunately, who's been hung by a tree as a black person. So if I were you, I would not get too comfortable in my space. I would not think that I am above the fray because you are married to a white woman. It is not going to save you when the shit come down to it. You are going to get everything. You are going to get everything that you deserve. Because when all your grifting is over with, when Donald Trump is gone, Stephen Miller is gone, and this MAGA shit is dying, by the way, just in case you didn't know it. You know, it's a slow death, and we all have to watch it, unfortunately. But the MAGA movement is fucking dying. You're gonna always have some diehards, but it's time to but they're dying out, and your grift, is only gonna last for so long, brother. But anyway, y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I want to say one more thing. When you come on somebody's channel and comment about a particular video that I make, I appreciate that. But if you try to take me to task over somebody who I discussed, not necessarily in a dark way, but just discuss, and you are fighting tooth and nail over somebody who really is not going to care either way about you as a fan, clearly you're not paying attention to all the other bullshit, the serious shit that is going on in our country right now. And that is for one particular person. Come on, Duke. Come on. That is for one particular person. So, with that said, come on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and yeah, let's get this Dragon King 72 Media LLC company up. Let's do some great work. Let's make some positive changes. And y'all just stand by. There's more to come. All right. Thank you. Peace out.